Hey there, folks. It's just me again. This time I'm going to be talking about the new Earth, the physical Earth. You all are familiar with this one? Well, the new Earth that's coming after Armageddon, after the tribulation period, the face of the planet is going to look very different. All the landscapes are going to be extremely different than what they are now. And the new Earth, after the 1,000 years of peace, is going to be different yet again. But the landscapes will stay the same. The continents will stay the same. During our days now, we are familiar with the Earth that has a landscape that looks like that. But during the 1,000 years of peace, all the landscapes are going to be totally different. Not exactly like that, but more something like that. And that is because, as the Bible says in many times, if you read the Old Testament, all the prophets, whenever they talk about in those days or in that day or during those times, they're talking about the 1,000 years of peace, when the Lord has changed the entire face of the planet. Because the Bible does talk about, to start off with, there's going to be a brand new sun. And when that sun changes, it's going to burn 7 times brighter. I did another video on this in the past. But after Armageddon and before the 1,000 years of peace, our sun is going to undergo a change. Now, whether or not it's going to increase in size or whether it's just going to stay the same size, but increase its intensity, we have no idea exactly. The Bible just tells us that it is going to burn 7 times brighter, and the moon will be 7 times brighter as well. So when the sun changes its intensity, I believe that it's going to quickly expand to a point where it will send out a shock wave. And that shock wave will eventually hit the Earth. And I believe it will be that shock wave that will shake the entire planet. And it will knock down every single building that mankind has ever built. So not a single city will be left standing. Not a single building, the Bible says, will be left standing. No stone will be left on top of another. And I believe when that shock wave hits the Earth, because our Earth right now is kind of hollow. Okay, the Bible tells us that during the days of Noah, during the flood, not only did the rain fall down, but also the springs underneath the earth, they all came up too. So all the water that was stored underneath the planet burst forth. And I believe right now that the earth has a lot of hollow spots in it. And that's why we see these days all of these sinkholes happening. Not only is there erosion on top of the earth, but there's erosion underneath the earth. And because the earth is partly hollow, things are going to change. And the sinkholes are just a sign of what is to come. Because I believe when the shock wave comes out from the new sun, it's going to hit the earth. And not only is it going to change everything, not only is it going to shock or shake everything down, but it's going to compact the earth like a snowball, because there's a lot of hollow spots on the earth. The earth, or basically God, is going to be compacting the earth itself. I don't know if you've ever made a snowball, but you can gather up a bunch of snow and put it together, and it'll be there in your hands, and it'll be a certain size, and it'll be soft, a soft snowball. But if you compact it, it'll be more firm, and it'll be more solid. And I believe that's what's going to be happening with the earth when the shock wave hits us. Because the Bible tells us that all the mountains are going to change. The holy hill on Zion, where Jerusalem is, where the walled city is, that's going to be the tallest mountain on the face of the planet. So either in Jerusalem, that mountain is going to be raised above the level of Mount Everest, or what I believe is going to be happening, since the earth is going to be compacted, Mount Everest is going to be shrunk down. All the mountains, the Bible says, are going to be leveled. There's going to be a whole new series of mountains across the face of the planet. The Bible even tells us that the floors on the bottom of the ocean are going to be raised up too. And all the areas on the planet, on the continent right now, all the dry land, I believe where all the sin is, the places of the cities that have the most amount of sin, that's going to be tilled under. If you've ever lived on a farm and you've tilled the soil, what you do every year is you're basically taking all the soil that's underneath the surface and you're bringing it to the top, and you're taking the surface soil and you're pushing it underneath. Constantly doing that on an annual basis makes the ground that much richer. So I believe that's going to be happening during at the beginning of the 1,000 years of peace, when God changes the whole face of the planet. A lot of the ground on the continents are going to be moved to the top, and all the cities and all the stuff that's on top is going to be plowed under, basically plowed under. So everything is going to change on the face of the planet. There's going to be a whole new earth. I believe it'll look something similar to this. The continents are going to change radically. Right now, as I had mentioned before, this is the way it looks now. That dark spot is, of course, Jerusalem, and that's where the center of the earth is going to be. The world is going to revolve around Jerusalem, because Jesus will be ruling and reigning there. And if you look at the new surface area, you will see that Jerusalem is right there. It's right there, which puts North America around over here, and Asia around over here. So there will be a land bridge as there was before in the past. So the whole earth will be connected, and the visions that I've seen about that, right now the earth is 70% water and 30% land, something like that. It's going to be totally reversed. There's going to be more land on the new earth, and smaller oceans. There will still be large bodies of water, but there will be more seas and lakes and ponds and wetlands, and one, you could call it an ocean. It's kind of like an ocean, but it's not like the oceans that we have now. It's going to be a large body of water that will be kind of like a very large sea or a very small ocean. And because everything is shifting, because all the landscapes are shifting and all the continents are shifting, and we're getting new land, we're getting new surface to live on, and smaller waters, because of all the underground cisterns, all the underground rivers, all the underground tunnels that are there that used to hold water, they are going to change as well, because like I said, the earth is going to be compacted. So all the waters that are underneath the ground are going to be all filtered and running to and vented to Jerusalem, because the Bible tells us that there's going to be a source of water that flows from underneath the throne of Jerusalem. So basically, Jesus will be sitting on that one water vent that is going to carry all the waters to the rest of the world. So Jerusalem will be the source of water from which all the world's waters come from. Because the Old Testament, I think it's either Isaiah or Ezekiel, maybe Jeremiah. Anyway, I'll print it down here, where that actual verse is. But it does talk about how all the waters will be coming from the throne of Jerusalem, and they will go out to all the lands. They will feed all the lands. So all the rivers will come from Jerusalem. All the seas and all the lakes and all the ponds will be fed from Jerusalem. Jesus symbolically will be the living water that will feed all the nations, and also actually all the waters will come from Jerusalem, from underneath his throne, that will feed all the lands on the new earth. And in terms of, you can check this other video. I made another video, the supernatural sights. of the new earth. And I'm specifically talking about the canopy of smoke, or the canopy of cloud that will be over top of Jerusalem. It will be there day and night. During the daytime, it will be a smoke covering, a cloud covering that will filter out a lot of the harmful UV rays from the new sun. And during the nighttime, it will become a fire. And I believe, because also we know in the Bible, in the book of Revelation, that Mystery Babylon, the city of Babylon, once it has fallen, once it becomes a ruins, and in the Old Testament it becomes a home for the jackals and for the birds of prey. And in the book of Revelation, it tells us that the smoke from the ruined city of Babylon will rise up forever and ever and ever. And I believe that speaks of the new underground. So when the shockwave hits the earth and the earth gets compacted, not only is it going to redirect all the waters underneath so that they come out of Jerusalem, but I believe it will redirect all the volcanic activity that is underneath the earth, so that the fallen city of Babylon will become the only volcanic vent in the world. So all the heat and all the smoke that is underneath the earth will be vented through Babylon. And I believe that smoke that rises from Babylon will be carried in the air, and it will rise over top of Jerusalem. And it will be that constant ash cloud, that constant smoke cloud that comes up from Babylon, that will be over top of Jerusalem. And that will be the cloud of smoke that will be the canopy over top of Jerusalem. And during the nighttime hours, I believe somehow God is going to ignite all that ash so that it burns and it becomes the canopy of fire over top of Jerusalem at nighttime. So there will be two vents that will be on the new earth, a water vent that will come from beneath the throne that will feed all the lands, and the smoke vent, the volcanic vent that will come from the ruins of Babylon that will provide the canopy over top of Jerusalem by day and night, fire and smoke. What else is there to talk about? Let me check my notes.